Hello, welcome to Wednesday night's calendar with Gaynor Barnes and me, John Shires.
Yes, and here's what's making the headlines tonight.
When the lights go out, could turning off our street lamps to save energy be such a bright idea?
Definitely not. There's going to be a lot of muggings and that going on. We need the street lights, definitely.
Caught in the act, we look at the hidden camera footage which could put fly tippers behind bars.
It'd be surprising what we pick up: baths, toilets, anything, prams, you name it, they'll dump it anyway.
And find out why this Barnsley vicar is going to be at the checkout instead of the pulpit on Sunday.
But first tonight, with gas and electricity bills going through the roof, we're all being urged to cut back where we can.
Well, it appears that our local councils could be taking that advice on board as well. In East Yorkshire, street lights could be turned off in the middle of the night as a way of trimming down our council tax bills.
But some fear it might not be such a bright idea and could provide an open invitation to thieves and vandals. Anne-Marie Tasker has tonight's top story.
Everyone's noticed our energy bills soaring over recent months, and that pinch is even being felt by East Riding Council. In an effort to stop council taxpayers paying more to cover rising electricity costs, it's considering switching off some street lights.
I think maybe it's a bit scary, you know, for people, especially people that maybe work or do shift work or something like that.
I wouldn't mind too much about that. It's a quiet street and we've got proper security. So if it would make a saving, which was sensible, yes.
There's going to be a lot of muggings and that going on. We need the street lights, definitely. I don't agree with it at all.
East Riding Council's energy costs are expected to rise to more than £3 million this year, and nearly a third of that is for street lighting. So the council's been asking some residents what they think of these options: dimming the street lights or turning them off completely from either midnight or 2 a.m. until 5 in the morning.
It's highly unlikely that we would ever be considering turning off streetlights in town centres or on busy A-road junctions and in areas where either there's a crime issue or there are road safety issues. So what we're looking at is probably looking at reviewing the hours of operation of streetlights in quiet residential areas, because there are not many people walking our streets at 3 in the morning.
In the village of Leven, they're particularly unhappy with the plan, as the parish council forked out £30,000 of its own cash on installing new street lights.
Disgusted with that idea, really. It's very much retrograde step. It's an open invitation to vandalism and burglaries. And I'm sure all our village residents would be up in arms if they did switch them off. We've got other things to consider. What if anyone had an accident in the darkness? We've got a lot of people with invalid chairs, and some of them, we've got quite a lot of shift workers who come in late at night and early mornings.
The big switch off is one of a raft of possible cost-cutting measures, and the council says there'd be widespread consultation before residents would be left in the dark.
Well, we want to know what you think. Is cutting lights just a sensible way of saving us all money?
Or is it an open invitation for criminals to wreak havoc under the cover of darkness? Now, you can text us with your thoughts and views. You just send the word calendar followed by your comment to 63332. That's 63332. And we will try and include your views before the end of tonight's programme.
Next this evening, parents are being told today that they need lessons to deal with unruly children rather than simply dosing them up on drugs like Ritalin.
Yes, a specialist from our region has sparked a fierce debate over how to treat youngsters with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD.
Dr. Tim Kendall from Sheffield says medicines are dished out all too easily, and this can have serious effects on the children taking them.
Well, in a moment we'll be talking to Amanda Baranowski, whose son was prescribed with Ritalin when he was just 5.5 years old. But first, Karen Petch looks at what the experts have been saying.
Kieran and Oliver are amongst the 3% of children suffering from ADHD. The pair both take Ritalin to calm their hyperactive behaviour. Today, new guidelines were issued. They recommend parents should try managing their child's behaviour first, with Ritalin or methylphenidate only being used later or in severe cases, and not at all for the under 5s.
Methylphenidate, for example, I mean, it has side effects, as do other drugs in the treatment of ADHD. And it's our view that parent training programs don't have those risks in the same way. So for those with moderate ADHD and severe, use the parent training programs. But when you've got severe, you can also add in using one of these medications. And the first one you'd think of would be Ritalin.
Gloria Mills helps her sons by following a set of strict rules and timetables called behaviour modification, just what the experts want.
Parent training alongside is really an important thing to provide. So those things need to happen, and only if there is no improvement should there then be a suggestion that drug treatment is required.
Although no parent wants to give their child drugs unnecessarily, for some today's recommendations won't be welcome news.
Well, joining us now are Amanda Baranowski and her son Alex. Amanda, what's your reaction to this? These guidelines that's saying that parents need lessons in how to cope with their children, and they shouldn't be diagnosed with Ritalin?
I think in a lot of ways parents need support and guidance, but I certainly think ruling out Ritalin is the wrong thing. Parents do need the Ritalin, the children need the Ritalin. They need to be allowed to have a window of opportunity to be able to calm down and be able to learn at school. And Alexander having that opportunity when he did take Ritalin was a good thing.
He took it from quite a young age. He was just after
5 and a half,
yes. And it made a big difference, did it?
Absolutely, phenomenal difference to his behaviour at school and at home.
Alex, do you remember taking Ritalin? How did you feel? Did it make you feel a bit better, a bit calmer?
Yeah, calmer. I could concentrate better, and work that I did was a lot better compared to what it was without Ritalin.
But you're not on that now. You're on something else.
Yeah.
What do you take now then?
Atomoxetine, also known as Stratera.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Because you're at senior school now, so this means that you can really focus and really concentrate, yes? So, Mum, I mean, how do you feel about the comments made? Do you feel that this is wrong, that children shouldn't be allowed to have it, or...?
I think it's very wrong, people that are making these decisions ought to live with a child that has got ADHD or an element of hyperactivity with the condition, and they ought to see what it's like living with a child with that condition, because it's very difficult.
Right.
I am a parent who part of a support group in Sheffield called Ray of Hope, and I'm in contact with a lot of parents, and I've had messages from them today saying, please, you know, we wouldn't be able to manage without Ritalin.
Okay.
We're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much. I'm glad, obviously delighted that it's worked for you both.
Thank you.
Well, next to the growing problem of fly tipping and the very latest weapon to catch those responsible.
Yes, you might not know it, but offenders who are prosecuted can actually be jailed for up to a year and fined up to £50,000.
Now, one council in our region is targeting 12 of the worst grot spots, or the so-called dirty dozen, in an effort to catch the tippers in the act. Emily Knight reports.
Caught by a hidden camera, a fly tipper as he drives down a dirt track ready to dump his rubbish. You can see his truck is fully loaded. Moments later when he leaves, the truck is empty. This is the mess that's left behind every time someone breaks the law by fly tipping.
It's just irresponsible people that really don't care about the environment.
Eakring Road here in Mansfield has been voted as one of the worst spots in the district for fly tipping. There's loads of rubbish strewn everywhere around me, and this road stretches for about 2 miles, so you can see the scale of the problem. It costs the council about £5,000 a month to clear all this up, but it's a thankless task. They reckon within 3 weeks it'll all be back again.
Maximum fine to the magistrates court is £50,000 or a 12-month prison sentence. You can get social behaviour orders, vehicles can be seized, be banned from driving.
This is one of 12 hotspots in the district named as the Dirty Dozen. This week they're being cleared up one by one as part of the national Big Tidy Up campaign.
It'd be surprising what we pick up: baths, toilets, anything, prams, you name it, they'll dump it anyway. They're just not bother where they dump it at all.
They ought to be fined and made to clean every little bit of litter up they drop.
I think it's disgusting myself. I think they try to do the best they can to clean it up, but obviously people's not bothered, are they?
The site here has now been cleared, and once again it blends into the surrounding countryside. But no sooner has one dumping ground been sorted, it's on to the next.
Emily Knight reporting there. OK, now let's find out what's happening in the ITV News studio this evening.
Coming up on the evening news, sky-high prices. ITV News can reveal the airlines planning to charge passengers for a host of new services, including using your mobile phone.
And class act. Double Paralympic gold medalist Eleanor Simmons returns to school and a hero's welcome. Those stories and more at 6:30.
Now more news closer to home, and the South Yorkshire couple killed in the weekend coach crash near Scarborough have been named. Deborah Clements, who was 39, and 40-year-old Paul Clements were from Rawmarsh near Rotherham. Both died instantly when a coach ran out of control down Staxton Hill and over the A64. The coach was carrying 50 adults and children from the West Midlands. Its driver, a 52-year-old man, has now been released on bail.
4 mountain rescue teams and an RAF helicopter are taking part in a full-scale search in South Cumbria for a missing Lincolnshire man. They're looking for 39-year-old Martin Gent, who's been missing from his home in Spalding since Monday evening. The search was launched after his silver Vauxhall Vectra car was found abandoned yesterday in the Stainmore area on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales. Police say they are concerned for his welfare.
The main search at the moment is the woodland to the right-hand side, and obviously the open fell land. But as you can appreciate, we've got a vast area up here to cover. The wood in itself is a large area, but also it's huge open fell land to search, which is making it rather difficult.
A major crackdown on drugs has put 64 dealers behind bars for a total of over 144 years. Operation Georgian began last November and targeted street dealers in Mansfield and Ashfield in North Nottinghamshire. Almost 70 suspects were arrested, 64 have now been sentenced. The operation also identified 72 drug users who are now in treatment programmes to help them kick their habit. People living in the area say the crackdown has made a real difference to their community.
Communities will see the benefits of that, because whilst you might not stop somebody committing offences from overnight, what you will see is a steady reduction in the levels of offending they commit, and actually the more that their lives turn around and the better that they get, the more they want to live legitimate lives and get away from their offending past.
Well, hundreds of school children have been taking part today in a triathlon in Newark. The British Triathlon Federation has been teaching 9 to 11-year-olds exercises all day. The youngsters had to do a 60-metre swim, a 1,000-metre bike race and a 400-metre run. Triathlon is the UK's fastest growing sport. Today's event was to highlight the different ways children can enjoy sport and promote healthier lifestyles.
Good idea. Now stay with us, because still to come on Calendar tonight.
Oh yes, it's time to don your Stetson and say yee-haw as we meet Britain's newly crowned Best Country Music Singer.
And find out why this Barnsley vicar is going to be at the checkout instead of the pulpit on Sunday.
Now then, they're usually a great place to catch a bit of peace and quiet, but a group of gardeners in our region are preparing to go to war over their local allotment.
They say people have been tending their plots at the Grantham site for more than 100 years, but now they could be forced out. James Wright reports.
We might not have had the greatest of summers, but that hasn't stopped the allotment tenants of California Gardens in Grantham from enjoying the fruits of their labours, and they're not alone.
Up and down the country, there are thousands of people wanting to get onto allotment sites like this so they can enjoy the fresh air and take home fresh fruit and veg. But the private owners of this site want the land back to make way for new homes.
Well, as far as we can ascertain, the allotments have been here since 1905. Generations have worked on this land. Apart from being healthy, it provides a much needed addition to their natural diet.
We were actually only told in May this year that we needed to be off in 6 months. That deadline's fast approaching now. We've lobbied and petitioned the local council because there is a legal commitment to find us alternative land.
The landowners have offered to move the allotment to an adjacent piece of land, but the current tenants say it's not good enough for gardening.
It's very, very overgrown. It's the site of an old maltings, so there's hardly any soil there to actually garden on.
What will you do if you're kicked off this site next week?
I don't know what I'll do. I'll just twiddle my fingers, won't I?
The council say that £100,000 is to be made available to buy suitable land for turning into allotments. That will take time, and these tenants have been told they only have until the end of the month to vacate the site.
Well, it's not bad gardening weather if you've got an allotment. A time of mist and mellow fruitfulness, Kerry.
Oh yeah, misty mornings, sunny days.
It's wonderful, actually. I'm not complaining, because usually we berate you because the weather's awful, sunshine and
No,
showers.
we berate John Mitchell.
Yeah, well, we
actually.
do.
A little bit of cloud today, and there will be a little bit more cloud over the next few days.
A lot of high pressure.
But high pressure's in charge. Yay, yay, yay. It gets a bit boring, actually, because it's just mostly dry.
It isn't boring
light winds,
at all. We're not
some
bored in the
sunshine.
slightest.
We were bored with rain, I can tell you
We
that.
were bored with rain, but you've got some nice photos, haven't
Lovely
you?
photos, yeah. The first one is newly sown crops starting to show through as the sun sets over Ludford, which is between Market Raisin and Louth in Lincolnshire. Thanks very much to Brian McCarthy in Binbrook for that one. Second one, gorgeous. Bolsover Castle in Derbyshire.
It's your house.
By Barry Salt from Cloud near Chesterfield. Oh, I love that.
It's
and then
beautiful, that,
third
yes.
one is hay bales, nice and dry in Middle Handley, Eckington in Derbyshire, and that's by Rod Orton. And
So-
nice dry weather over the next few days. to
Is
keep
it? So
that hay
we can
dry.
actually, it's going to continue. This is not just a blip.
Yeah, we've got a little chart just to show where the high pressure is as we head into tomorrow,
Mhm.
just northeast of us. And then over the next few days, there's another one to the west of us.
Oh, that's very
Gonna
good.
did you see that little medallion then?
Yeah, that's good.
I
I
know, it was
like
quite, that was quite swift moving, but that was on Saturday, and I've dared to put a medallion on for Saturday. Little wispy bits of cloud.
I wonder why. It must be a very good day.
I know, somebody's
yes,
birthday.
Yay! Birthday girl. Sun shines on the
Kerry.
righteous. Thank
More
you,
at the end of the
Kerry.
programme.
Of course. Thank you.
On to sport. West Ham are to appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Zurich against the ruling, which could see them paying Sheffield United up to £30 million in compensation over the so-called Carlos Tevez affair. West Ham broke Premier League rules over the signings of Tevez and his fellow Argentinian Javier Mascherano. Tevez went on to play a crucial role, of course, in keeping West Ham in the top division at the expense of the Blades, who were relegated.
So then a possible cash windfall off the pitch for Sheffield United, but on it, it was the brilliant youngsters of Arsenal who were cashing in against the Blades in the Carling Cup last night.
Yes, United beaten 6-0 by an Arsenal side with an average age of 19.
Scary, isn't it? Well, more on that in a moment, but first David Hurst starts his roundup with another giant killing by Rotherham United.
Rotherham United buoyant, Southampton all at sea, the third championship team to founder at the Don Valley Stadium in this season's Carling Cup. Drew Broughton claimed the first goal, the referee gave it to Nick Fenton. No doubt about the second though, a real cracker from Danny Harrison. Even better, Southampton's response on the hour. Great skill and a marvellous finish by Stern John. Once again though in this competition, Rotherham raised their game to new heights. Ruben Reid causing chaos in the Southampton defence, and an easy finish for Broughton.
I'm just really lucky to come to a club like this because there's a lot of clubs in League Two which are not so professional and don't do things the right way, but this is fantastic.
Leeds United joined Rotherham in the fourth round, 3-2 winners over Hartlepool. Robert Snodgrass taking advantage of poor defending. And Enoch Shomnig getting the vital touch for the second. The winner came in stoppage time. Was it a cross or a shot? The outstanding Andy Robinson didn't care one bit. Arsene Wenger put out his reserve team against Sheffield United, but this is no ordinary reserve team, packed with some of the world's best young footballers. Just sit back and enjoy 6 of the best. If you're a Blades fan, look away now.
Now, Dean Windass has told ITV.com that he could leave Hull City if he's told he's not part of manager Phil Brown's Premier League plans. Windass is due to meet Brown in the next couple of days to thrash out his future. The hero of Hull's historic victory at Wembley in May says he's bitterly frustrated at not being picked for the squad this season. He's featured only once for the Tigers in the Premier League as a substitute against Wigan.
On to cricket. The first day of Yorkshire's crucial county championship relegation decider against Sussex at Hove has been disrupted by rain and bad light. Yorkshire lost the toss, they were put into bat and had an early setback. Adam Lyth bowled by Jason Lurie for a duck. But Andrew Gale stood firm. He hit 3 boundaries and had reached 22 by the time the rain came down, with Yorkshire on 26 for 1. Well, that was it for a couple of hours. Covers on, the umbrellas up, but they did restart in the afternoon. Afraid it's not good news for Yorkshire. They're now 80 for 6. Gale, Lyth, McGrath, Rudolph, Brophy and Patterson, the batsmen, out. Meanwhile, at Trent Bridge, Nottinghamshire still on course to take the county championship title. They've restricted Hampshire to 199 for 9. Charlie Schreck and Darren Pattinson with 3 wickets apiece. They've done the damage. And finally, in Division 2 at Leicester, Derbyshire won the toss, decided to bat. Leicestershire 34 for 1 in reply to Derbyshire's 194 all out.
OK, now early in the programme we asked for your response to the fact that East Riding Council may turn off or dim their street lights at night to save money. Well, we've been inundated with your texts, so thank you very much. This one says, no, don't turn our street lights off. Crime levels will rise, more burglaries will take place, lives will be more difficult and people will worry.
Another one here, it's a brilliant idea. Turn all street lights off during the night. Any idiot knows most burglaries are done during the day.
OK, I think turning the lights off would be dangerous. This would make our streets more inviting to criminals and cause added worry to the elderly. Well,
we've got plenty here, but just time for one more. Why don't they have solar street lights?
That's a very good point, actually.
One or two saying that,
Yes,
actually.
yes.
Not a bad idea at all.
So thank you very much.
Now then, many churches are facing dwindling congregations, but one vicar in Barnsley has come up with a novel idea for boosting attendances.
Yes, the Reverend James McCaskill from St Mary Magdalene Church at Lundwood is holding his Sunday's Harvest Festival at his local supermarket, which is where Julie Lockwood caught up with him.
Well, on Sunday morning you usually find the Reverend James McCaskill here in his church at Lundwood, but this Sunday's going to be different. Tell us why.
Well, it's going to be a lot different this Sunday, and we've decided to take church to the supermarket. Rather than sitting in our chairs in the church on a Sunday morning wondering where everyone's got to, we're going to go to them and make it a lot easier for them to join us.
Well, a lot of people seem to make a religion of shopping these days, so it might be a good idea. Of course, you're well known in Barnsley, aren't you, after the documentary, The Priest Idol.
That's right.
I thought that had built up your congregations.
Well, it had built up our congregation, and then we accidentally burned down the church hall, which decreased the congregation after a while because we focused too much on the building, architect, and that sort of thing. And now, after having a couple of years of upsets, we're back in business. We're back to trying to reach out to the community and leave our doors behind and make new connections.
Here in the supermarket.
Right here in the supermarket.
Is it going to be a harvest festival then? Is that the idea?
That's it. That's it. Come where the harvest is these days. Only really rural communities now does the harvest service really involve the harvest. And for most people, the harvest service involves a trip to the grocery store.
Now, if I can bring in the events coordinator here, Sue Hall, I know you organise a lot of events here, but a church service must be quite an unusual one.
Yes, it's the first time we've ever done anything like this, but then nobody's ever asked us before. So if we can't get the people into the church, we'll bring the church to the people. So we thought we'd just jump in and help.
and do you think you're going to be able to manage a big congregation for James here?
Yes, definitely.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So what can people expect if they come along?
Well, we're going to have a marquee set up outside the front door, and we're going to have a bit of a sing-song, sing some of the old harvest favorites and perhaps a few other more modern songs, have a few prayers, pray for farmers in Yorkshire, and we're also supporting a charity called Self-Help Africa, which helps farmers in poor regions to build sustainable methods, and we'll have a collection for them, a prayer for them. We're also collecting food items that we'll put together and deliver to the housebound and the widowed and the lonely in our parish of Lundwood.
That sounds great. Thank you very much indeed for that. Well, I sometimes do some praying when I'm at the supermarket, but it's usually when I'm buying the lottery ticket.
Thanks very much, Julie. Julie Lockwood reporting.
OK, our final guest tonight first picked up a guitar at the tender age of just 8, and he hasn't looked back since.
Yes, it might be a long way from Nashville, Tennessee, but Gary Perkins developed his love of country and western in the pubs and clubs of South Yorkshire.
Now he's just won Country's answer to the Brit Awards, and I'm delighted that he joins us now. So Gary, many congratulations.
Thank you.
This is the little award here, isn't it?
It certainly is.
And what's it going to mean to you?
Well, what's it going to mean to me? Well, I'm hoping it's going to mean quite a lot. It's quite prestigious. It's the British Country Music Awards. We were nominated in 2 categories for Best Band and also Best British Solo Artist. And to be quite honest, when we went to the awards that were held at the Great Birchwood Country Park at Lytham St Anne's, I thought I was going to pick up the band. But there they were. I were announced to win the Solo Artist of the Year.
So is this going to make a huge difference to your career, do you
think? I'm not so sure. It certainly can't do any harm. I am fulfilling my dream anyway. I'm a professional country music singer, and I work all over the country.
And you work as a street musician?
I do work as a street... For the last 8 years, I've worked as a street entertainer. I set up a 1,000-watt PA system. I have a small stage in, sing under a gazebo. I have a lady who works for me who sells my CDs when I'm singing.
Yes, here we are, look.
Yeah,
Gary Perkins Sings Country, Volume 4. Fantastic.
And you've obviously got plenty of fans through that, because they've all voted for you for this award.
Well, I believe there was something in the region of 20,000 votes, so that's quite nice.
It's not bad going at all,
so
is it?
Quite nice.
The streets of Britain one day, America the next, is it?
Who knows? Who knows? And next year we've sort of got in the diary many more theatres, so it's one extreme to the other. It's theatre one night,
and
street the next day.
And you don't just sing other people's songs, you pen a lot yourself,
No, I do.
don't you?
Yeah, I do a lot of writing. Me and my father wrote a song. Well, we did an album together in '95. And we wrote a song.
And you might just give us a little shot of that
I'll do
in
it
a
for
moment.
you. Chase me
All
around
right
the
then.
bedroom.
Just before,
we shall say goodbye.
We will.
We will
see you tomorrow. Kerry's next with the weather, but Gary, come on then, chase me around the bedroom.
Right, you're on. Here we go. Well, tonight I'm feeling lonely. Tonight I'm feeling blue. I need someone to pick me up, so honey, why don't you? I need your arms around me to hold me through the night. So chase me around the bedroom, honey. Come on, hold me tight. Here we go. So I said, chase me, chase me, chase me, chase me all through the night. Then hold me, hold me, hold me. Come on, hold me tight. Then kiss me, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me all night long. Then love me, love me, love me. Well, honey, we can't go wrong.
It's flaming hot at Flamingoland. An amazing adventure with wild animals and wilder rides. Sponsors of ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Well, I love today's weather photo. It reminds me of weekends away with my family. A great scene yesterday at Runswick Bay taken by Peter Scott of Doncaster. Cheers, Peter, for sending it in to us. And this weekend looking fairly decent, especially Saturday. But in the meantime, for today, we've had a fair amount of cloud across the region. As you can see on the satellite sequence, some broken cloud and sunny spells developing for this afternoon. But during this evening, we've got this weak front, an area of cloud that's starting to push its way in from the southeast. It could, during the course of this evening, bring an odd spot of light rain and drizzle, a shower or two, but for many of us for this evening and overnight tonight, dry with some cloud around, but also some clear spells. Some mist and fog will develop into the early hours, overnight lows of around 9 or 10, and the winds fairly light and easterly. Tomorrow morning, the sun will rise at 6:58 and set again at 6:56 tomorrow evening. So a bit of mist and fog tomorrow morning, but generally a pleasant day. Broken cloud and sunny spells, perhaps a little bit more cloud around for the afternoon, but still some sunshine, and highs up a notch to 16, 17, and the winds again fairly light from a southeasterly direction, remaining pretty settled on Friday. A decent day on Saturday, more sunshine and fairly warm, an odd shower possible on Sunday.
Flamingoland. Wild animals and wilder rides.